Hello everyone, I'm Havoc and this is Minecraft All the Mods 3. So last episode we were looking at the mine colony and, oh, hello, what are you doing over here, just kind of wandering around? We finished the Swineherder's hut here with a few difficulties and we've got some stuff going on. This is not going to be the focus of today's episode though. I just wanted to come, look by here. It's looking nice. So what I want to look at is going to be ideas for the spaceship. Right? So I'm going to build the spaceship. I want the front to kind of be roughly in this area. I need to make sure it's kind of down the middle. So there's this block called an angel block that will allow me to just place it in the air. So if I just right click with this thing, bloop, puts it right in front of me. You don't have to build off another block. It's wonderful. It's from Extra Utilities 2, a very useful mod. And so this can be kind of a good, starting point for this is where the front of the spaceship is going to be. And then we are going to kind of come up with an idea for how it's going to look and how wide it's going to be. Let's get some gray concrete out. And in fact, we need to make more of that. Do I not have that as a recipe? So that'll be a problem because I'm going to need a lot of gray concrete. So before we start messing around with stuff, let's figure this out. Because I thought I had gray concrete. Nope. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We need to get the gray concrete powder recipe. In the crafting terminal. This is where I need that. Gray concrete powder. And then that can just go into any one of our terminals. Let's see. This one has a bunch of recipes that we're not going to use that often. So that's perfect. I'm just looking over here. It's been 5 days maybe since I've been on the server, so I had to make sure things are going on over here. I have been very busy in my personal life. Whoops. I am working full-time and I've got stuff I'm doing around the house and stuff going on, so I don't always have the time to record, but I am trying to make some time right now. Now I need to say, alright, gray concrete powder. Let's just make some of that gray dye. Okay, so that's a good problem to run into because now I need to know what can I make this gray dye out of. And I can make it from the dye essence, which I'm fairly certain I still have an awful lot of, so it's a good place to get that. And then we have what we need now. I can, let's see, I've been making a lot of sand and glass. I'm actually still I'm gonna leave that running. 188,000 sounds like a lot until you start making some of the products. And if you're wondering how I got that, I did create some material stonework factories. These take power and then can do a whole slew of different things. So this one is making cobblestone, grinding it into gravel, grinding the gravel into sand, and smelting the sand into glass. So you can see the steps right down here. And then I am just pulling that glass out. This one is stopping at sand, and I'm pulling the sand out, and these are dumping into that. Now, how I made the stonework factory is I first made this wonderful little block. Oh, well, that's a lot of pink slime. Called the Mob Slaughter Factory. Now this thing produces liquid meat and pink slime. And it does it very, very slowly. In fact, we can go ahead and turn this off. I don't need this running all the time. Just making a mess over here. I have loads of pink slime now. That's actually pretty funny. So I filtered this so that this fluid nullifier gets all of the liquid meat, because I don't really care for liquid meat. We can just dump all that away. And then the pink slime goes up into this tank. And then if you take a bucket and take the liquid pink slime and put it down in the world, it has a chance to randomly turn into a pink slime, which you can then kill. And since I have looting on this, or luck 3, looting 3, there's a very good chance that it gives you the pink slime. And you need the pink slime ball right here in the recipe. You need an iron pickaxe, a furnace, a crafting table, 2 sheets of plastic, some kind of machine case or machine chassis, machine frame, or a steel casing. It's just any kind of, machine body from several different mods. Bucket of lava, bucket of water, and you get your material stonework factory. It's not that hard. The mob slaughter factory itself is not too expensive either. It takes a couple of axes, a couple of iron swords, and some machine blocks. And then, like I said, it takes time. The only reason I've got so much pink slime there is the server's just running all the time, and I forgot that I left that on, to be honest with you. I got several pieces of it and made those stonework factories in order to get the glass going, because I am going to utilize... Alright, so to make these pure Certus crystals, you have to make the seeds, and the seeds require a lot of sand. So that's what I've been working on. We're going to get a bunch of these made up here offhand. Yeah, the pure Certus quartz seed. See, 6,000 sand in order to make this. So we're going to let that run. But that's one of the reasons that I need so much sand. And glass is used for a whole lot of recipes as well. So I'm just going to let that run for a little bit. When it gets to 250,000-ish, I'll probably stop those. Or turn it to something else. I don't know, gravel. Let's see. How much gravel do I have? Way down here, only 26,000. See? I can use that. But gray concrete. If I say gray concrete powder, let's change this to a process. A whole stack of it becomes a whole stack of the finished gray concrete. Then I can go right back around here to where I'm doing that, and that's going to be this one right here. It's also where I'm making the black concrete. So that just pushes it up into the fluid transposer, which then pushes it back down into the hold on, no, it's extracted here. Okay, I was about to say it's not pushing it back into the interface. It's imported right here at this import bus. Ooh, okay, we're good. We're all good. So if I say that I want gray concrete, make me 512. This thing, yep, just comes alive, starts filling up, which is perfect. So that's working. I can just request that, because what we're going to do up here is come over to our angel block and just try and figure things out. So trying to think of the design of the ship, and I've got a few ideas in mind. I'm thinking the design is going to look something sort of like the Prometheus ship, maybe from Stargate SG-1. That's a show that's going to show my age there, probably. That's something I watched when I was younger, and it's got a really neat looking ship in it, and I want to probably do something along those lines. And I'm trying to figure out, do I want to do the bridge at the front of it, or it would make more sense for the bridge to be kind of the backside and up on the console tower area. So we're going to do quite a long little bit here. I'm just trying to get an idea for dimensions. We need to do a little forethought into this. But there's also going to be multiple floors, and it needs to be very wide as well. because I've got to fit some things into here. I've got to fit in a Draconic Evolution power sphere just because it looks cool. I'm going to put in a induction matrix from Mekanism is probably what's going to hold the bulk of our power just because it holds so much and has such a great transfer rate. And I can easily see how much is in it. Using other mods as well, you could use a power monitor. But, oh, that's lopsided. Did I just make it even more lopsided again? One too many. I can figure all that out. But what I'm thinking is it's going to be quite long. I'm going to have multiple floors in it, so it'll get bigger as we go back. So just getting a general idea for how big I want the front to be. And it's not going to be super blocky. It's going to be kind of blocky, but it's not. And I'm going to have some of the triangle, what are these called? Framed slants. I'm going to use the framed slants from Block Craftery in making it a lot as well. It's going to need to be much taller on the upper side. And then it can obviously get bigger as it goes back, because what I'm going to need is lots of different rooms. I'm going to need rooms for my different machines, rooms for maybe like a mob grinder. I want this, my base is essentially going to be this floating spaceship. And I think what I'm probably going to end up doing is setting up, I need to come up with some dimensions for this and coming up with a rough sketch, and then start building the bridge, which is going to be where I move my terminals to, or where my interface is. I'm going to need to know how much power I have from that area, but it's going to be big. And then I'm going to need to come down, because like I said, that's probably going to be in an overlooking tower of sorts. So let's come out here. I need more of the gray concrete. Good thing I made a whole lot of it and can make more, because we're going to need to come quite a far ways back here, and then the bridge can be, because you remember I'm going to have a dome in which needs to occupy sort of this area here. I need to figure out what size of a dome that I'm going to make. Also, is this still Grove over here, or is this Ocean? So this is still Grove. That's good. And this will be beach, so this will affect the color of the sand right here, or the color of the grass, excuse me. In a beach, you see it's not the same green as the Grove area where it says ocean and beach. So I've got to be cognizant of that. Same thing over here. Is this all still Grove? Looks like it is where this water is. No, it says river. So that will have a different colored grass. So it's right up to this edge. I need to be cognizant of that and figure out how big of a dome that I'm going to want to make, because I may have to shift everything forward, because if I want to make a pretty decent sized biodome in the top of this, I've got to make sure, or I want to make sure, that it's encompassing the Grove biome. Let's head back here. So I definitely know that back here is not going to be where that dome will be. So this can be where we come up to have the bridge section. And there's going to be two big engines hanging off on either side of it, and the back will have the big thrusters. What I'm thinking is that you're going to have this bridge area that kind of overlooks the spaceship, the main body of the spaceship, that'll be up here at some area. Let's see. something along these lines, and I'll have some kind of elevator that goes down. And I'm also going to make use of the teleporters. I have this charge porter. I almost never use this thing, but I have one. It's there. Hold on, let me sleep. I'm going to make use of the teleporters from RF Tools in this build, because you can very easily go here, but you can also put down a matter transmitter block that when you step on it, it will send you to whatever receiver it's programmed to send you to. So I can use those to teleport around. And see, already now I feel like that may not be big enough. I may need to stick out further and have more of the engines back there over the water. I'm glad I came over here to take a look at that, because I really don't want to stick too much more of the spaceship front in this direction. Maybe a little bit more. We'll see. Again, it really comes down to, I need to figure out what size dome do I think will be adequate. And do I have a tape measure? Right here. This thing is wonderful. So if I come over here, I'm going to place some of this gray concrete up so I can visually see it from a distance. And wow, that's 56 meters. I mean, that's really big. I may not even need that much. But maybe I do. We'll see. I don't need to go that low. I have extended reach. I keep forgetting. But this is 53 meters. I mean, that'll be a pretty sizable dome on the top. Honestly, it will then require me to make the ship quite larger around the sides, which will look weird unless it is quite long. I don't want a cube. I don't want a box. I want a long, lengthy looking spaceship. Like I said, most likely going to look something along the lines of the Prometheus ship from Stargate. But we'll see. I might change my mind and do a little bit different design. But what I'm thinking is I'm going to have a main hallway and multiple floors. But the main hallway will transverse pretty much right, I'm thinking right down the center of the ship. And branching off of that will be rooms and ways to the bottom and top side. And I'm going to do some exterior windows. Just doing a little brainstorming here, getting a little something in place. I need to come up with some good dimensions so I have a framework of what's going on. But I think that's going to look nice. I'm fairly certain I'm going to have to push this out more. So let's look at some other building materials that I know that I'm going to need, and that's going to be the steel scaffolding. So I don't have a way to craft that just yet. I don't have the system understanding how to make it. And this requires steel rods. So you can craft steel rods just with 3 steel ingots will make 4 steel rods, or 1 will make 2. So you can get 4 out of this, or you can get 6 if you run it through the metal press. The metal press isn't that fast though. It's kind of slow. So you're getting, what, 1 1/3 instead of 2 per steel. You know what? How many pieces of steel do I have? 23,000. That's going pretty well. That's going pretty well. It's still churning away down here. Oh, yes, that's right. I forgot to relink that up. So I had to change some things around here. I realized that this machine didn't have power, which was kind of an oopsie because there's only so many connections on this one. And this one has 16 to 16, so I had to add another crystal over here, energy crystal, to power things up, and it's just kind of a mess right now. But I really do like the wireless power aspect of these crystals. It's great. Comes in very handy. But that, I just realized, for 5 days now, this has been running at half efficiency. So I actually have a little bit of coal coke, sand and glass going in there. And I could, honestly, I think this is probably going to get to the point, now that I sped it up, it's going to use the coal coke faster than I'm making the coal coke. I could set up a whole nother one of these, kind of right down in here, and increase this speed. But we'll see. I've got 23,000 and I have time to let that just run. Another prospect for the steel is I could grow some now. So let's look at the growth catalyst. These things, you can use them to make the seeds, the tier 5 crafting seeds. And the tier 5 crafting seeds can make diamonds, emeralds, wither, but right here, steel. This is what I'm interested in. I'm making steel in a very slow manner over there, and it's working. But let's see. Okay, so having some issues with Minecraft crashing when trying to render certain items. It crashed in multiple times. It's taken me quite a while to get it running again here. I've forgotten what I was doing here. Let's see. Yes, the seed. Okay, steel. So we are going to look up steel, and then I want steel seeds. So what are we lacking here? Okay, so that's not bad at all. We are lacking the essence. And I can just request the system to make it. Super simple. And I am going to plant this pretty much right away because steel is going to be a very high in demand resource on the spaceship. So there's my steel seeds, which is perfect. I can just come right down here and plop it there. Now it should grow pretty darn fast. I mean, I've got one heck of a lot of lily pad fertilities around here, but I also have growth accelerators under that. Whoops. Yeah, just making sure. I most certainly have growth accelerators all the way up to under this. So this shouldn't take that long to grow. It's already been gathered. Perfect. So that's going to go in the background and also give us steel essence we can then later use to make more steel. Now, on the topic of, whoops, let's go ahead and craft 4 more of those, because I think we're going to want to make another one of the seeds from @mystical. Okay, so we're looking at the tier 5 seeds down here, which it's not in tier order. Got it. Great. So we can just come in here and say, what are the uses of this seed? And we're going to go backwards. Draconium obviously would be a great thing to get. Not too worried about star metal, rock crystal, or ender amethyst. Don't even know what that stuff is from the Betweenlands. Terrasteel is a good one. Uranium, that would be great. Iridium really is probably the ticket getting in there. Vibrant alloy, and steel ingots. So this one right here, this one's going to be an important one. Oh, and so it does not look like I have another one of these. Is this going to be a process? So I need to look at the crafting recipes that I have in here, because I should really make the tier 5 crafting seeds in here. So what we're going to do is we are going to look up at mystical. I'm trying to think of things that crashed. Earlier when I looked up seed, it crashed. When I looked up crafting, it crashed. So I'm going to avoid the things that I know absolutely cause it to crash. And I'm going to try and get this done without searching things, essentially, because it seems to be an error with JEI where when it goes to render an ingredient that I'm searching, that it crashes. So we're just going to work our way up by one recipe at a time. Hopefully it doesn't crash. I want to get all the way to the tier 5 crafting seed. Right here. Throw that in there. Now I can just tell the system to make this for me. Now I'm going to scroll down to the bottom because if I try and search that again, I'm fairly certain it's just going to crash again. So it's going to be right here. I want, let's just say 2 of those. And then I'm going to need to make extra Supremium Essence as well. Because the instill seed would be great. I've got room to grow 3 seeds. So I can do the instill and something else right over there. As soon as it finishes, it's still working on the pure Certus quartz crystal. What are we waiting on here? What's going on? Okay, so we are processing, we're grinding Certus quartz crystals into dust, crafting seeds, and then processing them. There we go. It's doing stuff. It just doesn't move at a constant rate. It moves stacks at a time because of the way I set the recipes up. But looks like the seeds are finished. So if I say steel, and we're going to use the instill crafting. Where's my seed? Wow, went all the way around the back way. Oh, that's right. I need to craft. Well, you know, let's do 16. If I have enough of the essence. I do. So it takes, to make 16 the Supremium, it takes 4,096 of the base essence, the Inferium essence. That's crazy. 4,096 turns into just 16 of that Supremium essence. Alright. We've got that rocking and rolling. So if I come in here and say essence, got enough. This instill is going to be instrumental. The system knows how to make it, but it is slow, incredibly slow. And it only makes it when either I request it to make X amount or it needs it for a recipe that is doing other things in. So if I just let that run, I'll have instill essence building up over time while the server's running. I don't want to do this long term all the time, but right now I'm going to need a lot of this. So it's best to do it this way. Wow, look at the growth rate, 85%. I love it. But that's probably going to be it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to hit that like button down below. If you're enjoying my content and you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you all next time.